On a cold, silent night in February 1959, deep in the icy wilderness of the Ural Mountains in Russia, 9 experienced hikers mysteriously vanished. What rescuers found weeks later would haunt investigators for decades. A torn tent, footprints leading into the snow, and 9 bodies, scattered and mutilated in ways no one could explain. This is the story of the Dyatlov Pass Incident, Russia's most chilling and unsolved mountain tragedy. It was January 25, 1959. A group of 9 students from the Ural Polytechnical Institute in Sverdlovsk set out on a winter expedition to reach Mount Otorten, a remote peak in the northern Urals. Their leader, Igor Dyatlov, was just 23 years old, known for his intelligence, discipline, and passion for adventure. The group was well prepared. Each had earned experience in long treks, and this journey would earn them a Grade 3 hiking certification, the highest level in the Soviet Union at the time. They were young, vibrant, and confident. No one could have imagined how their final journey would end. The group traveled by train, then truck, and finally began their trek through the frozen forest on foot. For days they skied and hiked across frozen rivers and dense pine woods. They kept detailed journals and took photographs, smiling, joking, and building makeshift shelters. On February 1st, the group began their ascent toward Kholat Syakhl, a mountain whose name in the native Mansi language means the mountain of the dead. A snowstorm hit. Visibility dropped. Disoriented, the group veered off their planned route. Instead of descending into a nearby forest for shelter, Dyatlov decided to camp right on the exposed slope of the mountain. Why they did this remains one of many unanswered questions. That night would be their last. When the group failed to send their expected telegram on February 12th, friends and relatives grew concerned. Days passed with no word. By February 20th, a search operation began, led by students, teachers, and local rescue teams. Then, on February 26th, rescuers made a horrifying discovery. High up on Kholat Syakhl, they found the group's tent, half buried in snow, cut open from the inside. Inside were the hikers' belongings, jackets, boots, food, even cameras, everything neatly arranged, as if they had left in a sudden panic. But outside, barefoot footprints led down the slope into the woods. Something had terrified them enough to make them flee into the freezing darkness, half-dressed. Following the footprints, rescuers soon found the first 2 bodies, Yuri Krivonishenko and Yuri Doroshenko, lying beneath a large cedar tree, barefoot, dressed only in underwear. Nearby, the branches were broken up to 5 meters high, as if they had desperately tried to climb the tree, perhaps to escape something, or to see back toward the tent. Between the cedar tree and the tent, 3 more bodies were discovered, including Igor Dyatlov himself. Their poses suggested they were trying to return to camp, but froze to death before they could make it. At this point, 5 hikers were still missing.
It took over 2 months before the final 4 bodies were found, buried under 4 meters of snow in a ravine. What rescuers discovered shocked even the most hardened investigators. Ludmila Dubinina was missing her tongue and eyes. Nikolai Thibault-Brignol had a crushed skull. Simeon Zolotaryov had broken ribs, as if struck by an enormous force, but with no external wounds. Autopsies revealed internal injuries similar to those caused by a car crash, but no signs of struggle, no animal attacks, no other footprints. Radiation was even detected on some of their clothes. The mystery deepened. In the decades that followed, countless theories emerged, each more bizarre than the last. Some claimed avalanches had buried the camp, forcing the hikers to cut their way out. But experts argued the slope was too gentle for an avalanche, and the tent's position didn't fit the pattern. Others believed they were attacked by Mansi tribesmen, by escaped prisoners, or even by secret Soviet weapons tests. One theory suggested that infrasound, a low-frequency vibration caused by wind patterns, might have induced panic and confusion, causing the hikers to flee in terror. Then came the most controversial idea: UFOs. Several reports described strange orange orbs in the sky that night, and photographs from the hikers' cameras showed blurry lights and glowing spheres. Had they witnessed something they weren't supposed to see? Was the Soviet government hiding the truth? The official investigation, led by Soviet authorities, was quickly closed. The cause of death? A compelling natural force. No further details were given. The case was buried, literally and politically. Families were silenced, documents were classified, and rumors spread that KGB agents had intervened. For years, the Dyatlov Pass Incident became a forbidden topic in the Soviet Union. Only decades later, after the fall of the USSR, did researchers finally gain access to the case files, revealing just how incomplete and inconsistent the investigation truly was. In 2019, Russian authorities reopened the case. Scientists studied weather data, terrain models, and newly released Soviet records. Their conclusion? A rare type of delayed avalanche, triggered by a snow slab, may have collapsed part of the tent. The hikers, thinking the mountain was about to bury them, cut their way out and fled. Once outside, disoriented in the freezing wind, they became lost and succumbed to hypothermia. But even this explanation fails to answer everything, especially the internal injuries, the missing body parts, and the strange traces of radiation. Even the most modern theories leave the door open for the supernatural. Today, the place where the tragedy occurred is officially named Dyatlov Pass, in memory of its brave leader. Every year, hundreds of visitors make the pilgrimage to honor the victims and to feel the eerie silence that still hangs over that mountain. More than 60 years later, the Dyatlov Pass Incident remains one of the most chilling, unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. Was it nature's fury? A secret experiment gone wrong? Or something beyond human understanding? Perhaps we'll never know, but one thing is certain. On that frozen February night, something extraordinary happened on Kholat Syakhl, and the mountain has never given up its secrets. This is the Hidden Truths. If you believe some mysteries should never be forgotten, subscribe and join us on the next journey into the unknown.